Welcome back to Free Media. I'm Robby Soave.
And I'm Amber Duke. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi said the federal government will pursue the death penalty against Luigi Mangione for the alleged premeditated killing of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson in Manhattan.
She said in a statement, Luigi Mangione's murder of Brian Thompson, an innocent man and father of 2 young children, was a premeditated, cold-blooded assassination that shocked America. Bondi wrote in a statement, after careful consideration, I have directed federal prosecutors to seek the death penalty in this case as we carry out President Trump's agenda to stop violent crime and make America safe again. So this is interesting. I broadly oppose the death penalty, but not for the reason that I think a lot of other people oppose it. Some people, you might be in this situation, I don't know, have a moral opposition to it.
No, I'm not in that.
You don't have a moral? Well,
no.
some very
Catholics
conservative Catholics I know are against it.
Yes, and the Catholic Church has some mixed guidance on this.
Yeah.
I mean, some, old Catholic scholars will say that it's entirely just. Others are a bit warier of it, particularly the Jesuits. It's complicated.
Okay. But you're not there?
No.
Okay. Imprisoning someone is a pretty serious punishment also. My argument against it is I think it's hard. There have been cases where the government has wrongfully executed someone that they later found out was innocent. So I would not give the government this power because in cases where they've wrongfully convicted or incarcerated someone, you can't make it up to someone you've killed. So I'm just for it on a practical basis. In cases where there's an exceptional level of evil or like a mass, like a bombing or a mass killing, or where the guilt is so overwhelmingly evident as it is in this case, like he is absolutely guilty. You see him on tape doing it. There's no doubt whatsoever. If he is executed, I'm not like morally bothered by it. I would not give the government this power just as a general principle, but I am not morally offended by them doing it in a case where there is absolutely zero ambiguity, as there is in this case, or like the Boston bomber or whatever. Again, I think locking him up, in bad conditions for the rest of life is also a strenuous punishment. So if they do that, it's fine, but they could execute him and I wouldn't have a problem with it. That's my viewpoint.
Are you ready to shock the world, Robby?
Yes.
I agree with you.
Hey, how about that?
Yeah. No, I pretty much agree with everything you said. There are cases where the circumstances are so extenuating, the evidence is so obvious.
Yeah.
I will not shed a tear.
Yeah.
But the fact that there have been confirmed innocent people put to death under the death penalty,
yeah.
You can't get repatriation for that.
Exactly.
You can't get recompense for that. That's obviously a serious issue. There should be a way for people who are aggrieved or wronged by the U.S. government to have some kind of way of getting justice for that. You can't get that with the death penalty. So yeah, I have mixed feelings on it. I wouldn't say that I am reflexively like I don't want to give the government the power, but I do think it needs to be used in very exceptional circumstances.
Yeah, and this one, again, the guilt, now he's entitled to due process. He should have, the government has to prove the case.
He was framed, Robby.
But he clearly, absolutely, unequivocally is guilty.
Allegedly. Just for legal purposes. He
allegedly.
Allegedly.
Have to say that in this case.
I don't know.
He so clearly did it. Now, it's a horrifying crime. An innocent man was gunned down. Is it, again, the kind of crime, the kind of murders that I would reserve the death penalty for are a mass, like a bombing, I don't know, this doesn't quite get there to me. I'm not against them pursuing it necessarily in this case, because it's so clear-cut that he did it. I guess I'd leave it to their discretion whether to do it in this case or not. And then it's annoying we're going to spend the next 30 years actually adjudicating this. Whereas if you want to make an argument, I think, against the death penalty, you can also go there that, like, this is a person who, like Charles Manson or something, has a cult following of people that I think they're utterly deranged. And I can't believe I share, like, a species or a planet with them. But I think you do actually in this case risk making him more of a martyr, or that his cause lives on, or that whereas just like keeping him locked up to be forgotten about might be the more tactically sound thing to do. I don't have a strong view on this, but
yeah, I mean, you could argue it either way.
It's going to be back in the news over and over again.
Yeah.
Mangione has
another appeal.
Court hearing,
but you could argue it the other direction too, because then he's going to keep getting all these letters from these deranged young women, and he'll probably get married to one while he's in prison. It'd be a whole thing. But yeah, I mean, the death penalty does take a significant amount of time to fully adjudicate. and it's also very expensive. I
way-
believe
actually,
more expensive than life in prison
It
by a lot of metrics.
very well might be. I don't know.
Just based on the legal costs alone.
This is a thing, an aspect of this I do have strong feelings are. The way we execute people is just horrifying.
I'm in
to
favor
me.
of firing squad.
What
What is going on?
We're agreeing today. This is very, very dangerous. Yes, it is not. And before people jump in and say we're monsters or something, no, it is far more humane
Yes.
to simply shoot someone and have that be the end than to medicalize the procedure with a combining of poisons that sometimes don't successfully kill the person, that have proven to be harmful, painful to go through. It is not. This is a cruel way, actually, to dispense with someone in order to make it distant and medicalized and you're not doing it. No specific one person is doing it. That is cowardice and wrong and just we have not improved on this process.
Also, psychologically, when you have the lethal injection, ultimately it's one or two people pushing the button.
Yeah.
When you have firing squad, you actually have a larger diffusal of
Right, so you don't know
responsibility.
exactly who
You don't
did
know
it,
who
yeah.
fired the lethal bullet.
Yeah.
There's been studies on this diffusion of responsibility and how that basically leads to less instances of PTSD in people who participate in firing squad versus people who are doing the lethal injection.
injection's terrible.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's not as bad as electric chair, but it's pretty bad. You know, the person who invented the electric chair was just this like swindler that proposed this idea, and the first time they demonstrated it, it failed to kill the people. It fails routinely. It's
That's
just
good.
horrifying.
Yeah, that's great news.
we can't even proproperly execute people in this country anymore.
Yeah,
It's
it
just,
is really a shame. We used to be a proper country.
Yeah.
I am fine with Bondi pursuing this. I don't have any strong objection to it. I did see a media article where they were like, Trump's going to lose Gen Z if he kills Luigi Mangione. And I'm like, I don't think that should be like your primary concern, but okay.
Oh, that's hilarious
Yeah.
that they went there. Okay. People do have I get more, I have gotten negative feedback on this
Me too.
subject when I talk about it.
They're like, but Robby and
Like,
Amber, they were
healthcare
robbing
CEOs
people.
are
yeah,
evil.
They're evil.
Like-
They're robbing people.
Okay, man, just telling you what I think. That's it for today. We'll have more out tomorrow. Stay tuned for that.